In the modern workplace, we often encounter managers who exhibit domineering, erratic, and emotionally manipulative behavior, what some might call a psychotic approach. To be clear, this isn't about clinical psychosis, but rather a toxic management style that thrives on control and fear. While such bosses may appear powerful, their behavior often reveals deeper insecurities and weaknesses. As Robert Greene explains in the 48 Laws of Power, petulance is not power, it is a sign of helplessness. People may temporarily be cowed by your tantrums, but in the end, they lose respect for you. They also realize they can easily undermine a person with so little self-control. This quote underscores a profound truth. What might seem like strength is often a facade, masking a lack of emotional maturity and self-discipline. Recognizing this is the first step toward navigating the challenges these bosses create. Working under a difficult boss isn't just about meeting professional expectations, it's about surviving the emotional chaos they create. These managers have an uncanny ability to make you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough. They set up traps where every response can be wrong, instilling a constant sense of failure. This environment of fear and uncertainty creates the illusion of respect, but as Greene points out in Mastery, the most effective attitude to adopt is one of supreme acceptance. The world is full of people with different characters and temperaments. We all have a dark side, a tendency to manipulate, and aggressive desires. Understanding that your boss's behavior stems from their own struggles can help depersonalize the experience. They're not attacking you because of who you are, but because of their own unresolved issues. Thriving in such a challenging environment requires more than endurance. It demands a thoughtful, strategic approach. By mastering your emotions, understanding their psychology, and employing the right tactics, you can not only survive, but thrive. One of the greatest challenges when dealing with a toxic boss is the emotional toll their behavior takes. Their manipulations are designed to provoke reactions, making emotional detachment a crucial skill. Greene advises in the 48 Laws of Power. You cannot repress anger or love, or avoid feeling them, and you should not try. But you should be careful about how you express them, and most important, they should never influence your plans and strategies. Now, what does that mean? Emotional detachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means separating your emotions from your actions. You can acknowledge your feelings without letting them control you. Practical strategies include mindfulness. Practices like meditation can help you remain grounded during stressful encounters. Cognitive reframing. Shift your perspective by recognizing that their outbursts are a reflection of their inner turmoil, not your competence. Pause before reacting. When provoked, take a moment to assess the situation before responding. A calm, measured response often diffuses tension. The goal is to maintain composure and clarity, ensuring you're not dragged into their drama. Toxic bosses often operate from a place of insecurity, using control and manipulation as a shield. As Greene explains in the Laws of Human Nature, so often we think that power has changed people when in fact it simply reveals more of who they are. What does this mean? Power doesn't corrupt, it amplifies a person's true nature. A boss who thrives on fear and control likely feels powerless and insecure deep down. Practical strategies include educating yourself. Understanding human behavior can demystify their actions. Books like The Laws of Human Nature provide insights into why people act the way they do. Look for patterns. Pay attention to recurring behaviors or triggers. This can help you anticipate their actions and prepare accordingly. Detach from the myth. Stop viewing them as an all-powerful figure. Instead, see them as a flawed individual with vulnerabilities of their own. By understanding their motives, you can better navigate their tactics and protect yourself from their influence. When dealing with a toxic boss, not every battle is worth fighting. Greene emphasizes in the 33 Strategies of War, half of your mastery of power comes from what you do not do, what you do not allow yourself to get dragged into. What it means: engaging with their emotional games only gives them more power. Instead, focus on strategies that prioritize your long-term goals. Practical strategies. Deterrence. Become so good at your work that they have no choice but to rely on you. Being indispensable can give you leverage. Withdrawal. Sometimes the best response is no response. Let their tantrums pass without feeding into them. Counterplay. If you must engage, do so on your terms. Use wit, strategic silence, or deliberate actions to regain control. As Green notes in The Art of Seduction, your greatest power in seduction is your ability to turn away, to make others come after you, delaying their satisfaction. By refusing to play their game, you can shift the balance of power in your favor. The more options you have, the less control they have over you. Green highlights this in The 33 Strategies of War. If you only have one option, you're generally under the control of your opponent. But if you create a situation with multiple options, you can take the path that suits the moment. What it means: when you have alternatives, you're less dependent on their approval. Practical strategies. Develop a plan B. Hone your skills, network, and explore opportunities outside your current role. Build allies. Cultivate relationships with colleagues and higher-ups who can support you. Stay prepared. Keep your resume updated and stay informed about job opportunities. Having options not only provides security but also boosts your confidence, making it easier to stand your ground. Toxic bosses often rely on intimidation to maintain control, but their power is often more illusion than reality. Green advises in Mastery, train yourself to ignore the front that people display, the myth that surrounds them, and instead plumb their depths for signs of their character. What it means: stop being intimidated by their persona, look beyond their facade to see the human behind the title. Practical strategies. Visualization. Imagine them in a vulnerable or relatable situation to humanize them. Focus on their actions. Analyze their behavior objectively, rather than emotionally. Take control of the narrative. Share your observations with trusted colleagues to challenge the perception of their infallibility. By reframing how you see them, you can strip away their aura of power and reclaim your own. Dealing with a toxic boss is undeniably challenging, but it's also an opportunity for growth. Their behavior often masks profound weaknesses, and by mastering your emotions, understanding their psychology, and employing strategic responses, you can turn their tactics to your advantage. As Green's principles teach us, real power lies in self-control, adaptability, and the ability to see through illusions. By focusing on these qualities, you not only survive, but thrive, transforming a challenging workplace into a stage for personal and professional mastery.